Agile is a set of values and principles that people are constantly asking about. In this video, we're going to try to answer what is Agile methodology. So, if you are looking to understand that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for the video ahead. Hi, this is Afreen Rahman, and what is agile methodology? This is a bit of a trick question. The methodology, if you talk about the word, is a body of methods, procedures, and rules for a particular discipline, right? But agile values and principle explicitly avoid prescribing any particular methods or procedures, right? Agile doesn't specify methods. Agile is actually not a methodology, right? Now, this might come as a surprise for many people because the video is titled as What is Agile Methodology? But if you really take the time to look at Agile values and principles, you won't find any methodology there. Instead, what you will find is you will find some guidance, right? Some guidelines on how to choose methods and procedures that will work best for your team, right? The agile values and principles, they don't really try to prescribe the way your team should work. Instead, they focus on helping you and your team think and interact in ways that achieve agility. Now, agility is the ability to continually, kind of adapt, the ability to constantly make improvements to the way you or your team works, right? So, understanding this is important because it explains why agile explicitly avoids being a methodology, right? So, if agile specified a methodology, it would I would say necessarily be kind of very less agile, right? So less able to adapt to specific circumstances of your team in your organization. So instead of telling you explicitly what to do, agile gives you some values and principles that your team can use to decide what you should do. Now, the another obvious question that you may ask is if agile is not a methodology, what about all the specific things like you hear about agile teams doing, right? What about stand up meetings, product demos, retrospectives, etc., right? Very obvious, I would say very valid question that you're asking here. While agile is basically not a methodology, there are a number of methodologies team can use to follow agile principles and values, right? For example, take Scrum from it, for instance, right? So Scrum specifies a number of specific ways for teams to work. Now, this may include things like having daily stand-up fixed length, sprints, product demos, retrospectives, right? So many teams find Scrum to be a very, very good way of following agile values and principles. It provides a powerful methodology that assists in following agile. But it is important to note that just following these ceremonies doesn't make a team agile, right? They have to be following these ceremonies because it helps them align with the agile values and principles. As a side note, let me also, before anyone gets really angry, some people will argue that Scrum is a framework, right? And thus it makes it more flexible than basically being a methodology. But the line between the two is fairly fuzzy, nuanced, and often depends on whether or not someone has negative connotations of the word methodology, right? And for the purpose of this video and for this discussion, I'm using methodology in a very positive sense. So Scrum gives you a very powerful method and processes for getting work done, right? Now, extreme programming is another methodology that you will encounter in software development. So it includes a number of practices like test driven development and pair programming. So the extreme programming methodology gives teams methods and processes that can be used to follow agile values and principles. So, for example, agile principles say that teams should leverage change as a competitive advantage, right? So XP practices good methods for writing software that enables this. So why do people still refer to agile as a methodology? Usually because they're confusing agile values and principles with the methods and methodologies people use to follow these principles. So if your team is truly trying to follow agile principles and values, your methodology will eventually evolve. So over a time, your team grows and adapts, after that, after all, that is what is meant to be agile, so that your team is growing, your work is growing. And agile may seem like a small thing, but every like and every process is very, very appreciated. So please show your support to the creation of this video. If you liked the explanation of agile methodology, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and every time there is a video ahead next time, you'll be the first one to get notified. Thank you.